Hello, everyone. Welcome to A2IM's Indiescussions. We have today a discussion with our members Twitch. Today we have Cindy Charles with us and Jimmy Whisenhunt, and I will let them take it away and go over Twitch for artists and labels. If you are not an A2IM member, welcome. My name is Lisa Resco. I am the Senior Director of Membership at International and happy to tell you more about what we do after this discussion. So Cindy and Jimmy, I'll let you begin.
Awesome. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it. I'm going to preemptively apologize if there is a blood-curdling scream. My 2-year-old is very excited about Toy Story in the background. So Senior Partnerships Manager at Twitch, have been around for about the past 10 years working as a creator and then across different verticals on media, music, and a lot of independent creators in different walks of life. Really, for a lot of people, I realize Twitch may be new. So super fast background. We actually started as a website back in the day called Justin TV, where the idea was to broadcast anything and kind of take agency and control over your content in a live setting. That was about 12, 11 years ago. And from there, we learned really quickly that video games was a format that worked very well in Justin TV. And out of that, Twitch was born in about 2010, 2011. From that point forward, it grew substantially to be the largest live streaming platform in the world. And it was driven by people like me and you and people just at their homes with the ability to broadcast whatever they love doing in the gaming world to fans and allowing them to support them monetarily and really get involved and have a connection. It took us a while to kind of figure it out, but I think what we know now is video games were a good hook, but really it was a bridge builder for audiences. What it was is if I tune into a Call of Duty category and people playing that game and I enjoy that, I kind of already skipped over the coffee date with that person I'm watching, that content creator. So now I'm wanting to know more about them. What is it about their sense of humor? What kind of music are they into? What can I learn about them? And through that longer form back and forth interaction through live streams, you really get to form these relationships and you want to support these people. No one's paying their salary. Right? If you're watching someone play a video game back then, you knew that they don't have big sponsors. There's no company pushing them behind them. You are paying to support them and what they do so they can continue doing it. And you feel good about that. And also you get to continue having their content as long as they're supported. Fast forward a little bit, I think 2015, 2016, my date, it all kind of blends together. I feel like it's also been 47 Tuesdays in a row this past month, but about 2015, 2016, we launched the creative vertical on Twitch. It was the first time that we allowed more content that wasn't gaming on the platform. And that was anything from someone painting in their home to the first day I actually watched a guy make a bastard sword in his backyard out of this major forge. It was crazy. It was 8 feet long. And it was kind of this general creative area just where people could make a living live streaming what they love to do, whatever creative endeavor that was. Out of that, music really kind of took a life of its own. We saw a lot of great success in different areas, but really music grew without a direct Twitch focus. There's a lot of independent artists, a lot of people who we heard stories early on about someone moving to Nashville to make it in their preferred music scene. They were playing the bars there, trying to get noticed by labels, managers, network, and do these things, but in that life, it doesn't leave a lot of time for people to be able to write and be able to focus in on building that audience outside of the locality, where they are. And we started hearing stories about how people were able to make enough money online through Twitch with a more global audience. Instead of a 80-person bar, they had 50 to 100 people online from all over the world who have friends. To not have to go out to the bar as much, be able to write, be able to get real-time feedback, form relationships with these people, and get more real-time direction on the art that they were creating. And so fast forwarding a little bit more, we had a very small group of people at the company that were working with artists and trying to learn what specifically were the things that music creation on Twitch and music streaming and just generally that world, what were those things that they needed? It's a different problem set. It's a different need. And I think obviously we learned a lot from the gaming world that applies to music as well. And that forged the team that we're on now, which is the music team. It's been a couple of years for us dedicated to kind of behind closed doors for a while, talking to a lot of the people that have helped grow music initially and working with artists who are interested in coming over on a smaller scale. And obviously through this year, we were moving into larger scale things. And how do we start breaking this out? How do we start working with people to understand how best to utilize Twitch? And with everything going on in the world, obviously, we've accelerated plans from next year into today and are rapidly getting those materials out. We've moved way past experimentation stage. It's way more than a fatter experiment for Twitch at this point. Just last week, we launched if you go to the front page of Twitch TV, actually, there's a music button. You literally click it and it takes you to everyone streaming music on the platform. Like, it's front and center and something that we want to get the word out about. So we get a lot of consistent questions when we talk to artists. I want to say, since we've all been inside, I personally probably had conversations with hundreds of people, and I know I'm not the only person on the team. Cindy as well, Allison and everyone else have had a lot of these conversations. And something consistently that we get asked about is, how do we reach a non-gaming or audience on Twitch? Or like, I'm not a gamer, Twitch might not be for me. One of the important things to note is what Twitch has become really is a place to make a living doing what you love. The mechanics behind subscriptions and the ability for someone to come to your channel and choose to pay $5 to you a month on a recurring basis applies to any type of content. And we do believe, and we've seen it in practice, that we're already predisposed to support artists. Like, we want to buy albums, we want to buy tickets, we want to buy merch, we want to represent, and we want to support the endeavors that we really enjoy from people that we also enjoy. And so from all of that, we've seen probably over the past 6 months, more growth just generally in non-gaming than anything else on the website, whether that was podcasting or music. And in this past couple of months, music has quadrupled. Like, it has gone absolutely bonkers. It has been doing very, very well. And most of these people didn't come from a gaming background, and their audiences weren't gamers either. Twitch for them has become a place for the fans and the listeners to be this channel where they can be around other fans and enjoy this artist together. So it's a real-time interaction. It's not just about watching content. That's one thing about Twitch, is we're live all the time. So where a lot of our people find the best success is around live streaming to Twitch for longer periods of time, like an hour plus. And they cut that down and then put that on their YouTubes. They put that on their Facebooks, their IGTVs, and everywhere else. Because what we found, and then people who are streaming now, is typically the engagement on Twitch is quite a bit longer than a lot of platforms, because it's all we focus on. When you come to Twitch as a viewer, a fan, or whoever you are, you expect to really lock in and engage with whatever's going on. There's not a lot of distraction. It's all about that live stream in front of you. And that chat is happening between you, hundreds of other fans, the artist, the gamer, whoever that happens to be. My son's making an appearance here as well, if you can't hear that. So that's kind of the base level of Twitch. Really, the things that drive the pieces where I talk about making a living doing what you love are around subscriptions, or around ads, and or around bits. So with Twitch in particular, the whole core is being able to own your own content and be able to make money with an audience, and share that experience in real time. Sounds a little corny, but it's true. We call it multiplayer entertainment. The chat and your viewers are as important to the experience as you are. That chat box is always there. It's real time. There are a lot of features to help you navigate that and moderate it and that sort of thing. But in essence, it's live. There's no gating. If there's 10,000 people and they're all talking at the same time, it's all coming out at the same time. Everyone has a chance to express themselves and be a part of that experience. So through all of that, subscriptions are an option for viewers. All content on Twitch is free. To click a button, and they can subscribe to your channel for $5, $10, or $25 a month. And they do that on a recurring basis. Secondarily, if they happen to be an Amazon Prime subscriber, like a lot of us have Amazon Prime, they get one free subscription to a channel a month. And you, the broadcaster, the artist, still get paid as if they paid the $5. So that's a really big thing for a lot of people, bringing new audiences to Twitch, is letting their audiences know that, like, hey, you can support me simply by linking these accounts and clicking a button, and I get paid for that. It's been big for our gamers, and it's been massive for a lot of our producers, artists, and independent creators on the platform as well. The other option is something called bits. As a viewer, someone has the option to buy bits and they can use them on your channel. So 1 bit is 1 penny. So if they use 1 bit, that they just gave you 1 penny, the 100 is $1, and so on. And we see a lot of engagement. Interesting ways people use that is if you have several hundred people watching you and you want to find ways to prioritize questions, you want to find ways to trigger certain events on your stream, you can tie those bits usage to playing a certain song clip or to Q&A. So hey, we're moving to Q&A section. 150 bits priority question. I'll jump at that as quick as I can, just to kind of help moderate the chat. With subscriptions, you have the option to have people be in sub only mode. So if you do a sub Sunday, this is a reward like, hey, this Sunday we're going to go live and only subscribers are able to chat for that day. So everyone's able to partake and watch, but you can reward your subscribers by only allowing them to chat and do Q&A sessions and that sort of thing. And I'm going to pause. I've been talking for a while here. Cindy, if you want to dive in at all.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to introduce myself. I can't see who's attending, but I know probably several of you. I've been in the music industry for a really long time, digital music. I came to Twitch about 2 years ago, really to think about how we can work with artists, how we can work with the music industry and create a category around music. And just to digress a little bit, we did start with Twitch Sings, which many of you know about. It's a karaoke game. It was our first foray into music, trying to bridge the gap between gaming and music. It launched about a year ago. It's up and running. And after we launched that, we thought, well, maybe there's something else we can do in music, and had been talking about live streaming as a potential possible avenue to go down, and had done some concerts and festivals as one-offs. But now with COVID and, concerts being canceled, we've been getting a lot of inbound requests to live stream. A lot of artists that would be on tour are now streaming on Twitch, and we feel really grateful that we can provide a home for artists and help them monetize, given that they can't go on tour. So that's really, our goal really is to create a revenue stream, fame, love, money, which is what we talk about all the time for gamers, and recreating that for the artist community. So there are many ways to do that, and we are, we're open to ideas and open to inbound requests. We have a relationship now with SoundCloud and bands in town. They've started their own channels. They have live streaming. We are also working with Road Nation, which has a relationship with A2IM. And, there are ways that if artists are not comfortable individually starting their own streams on Twitch, and Jimmy will dig into more of those details, there are ways that artists can sample Twitch like those, and Road Nation being one of them, where they can see how good the audio quality is, and we help them with promotion, so artists can get up and running. So back to you, Jimmy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, I was ranting there for a bit. I get excited. That it's really good perspective. I mean, so there was a question that came through, and this is an important one. Like, I touched on it briefly earlier, talking a little bit about how we focus and how Twitch kind of works for viewers and people who broadcast, especially in the music and non-gaming world. Is someone asked what differentiates you from Facebook Live? I think one of the biggest differences when you look at a platform like Twitch or Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube is what the core of everything is a little different. An example of that is when I'm admittedly a Twitter head. Like, I'm way more on Twitter than I am on Instagram. Artists give me a lot of trouble for that, but that's the way I am. When I do open Twitter, Instagram, though, I'm typically tuning in for specific content. I'm coming in to get a snapshot of what's going on. I'm searching for something specific, and I do engage with Facebook and Instagram live streams. The differentiation is how much time do I have and what am I expecting to do when I tune in? When people come to Twitch, we typically find the engagements like 20 to 40 times above and beyond what you normally see on the YouTubes and other content platforms. And the reasoning just comes back to expectation and what you're in the mindset of when you tune in. People do watch video content, recorded content on Twitch, but it's a very, very small amount of people. We put live first. When you go to a Twitch profile, if you set up a Twitch profile as a label, an artist, that video player and that whole real estate is for live. So people get used to that fact. The other big thing is the cultural difference when it comes to how the monetization works and how that has grown and the way that we integrate all of those things, because the core of what we do is helping creators make money. That is the very beginning. We've been doing it for, the better part of a decade. So that really what we've seen and what we've heard from artists is what sets us apart the most, is being able to take those audiences from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and kickstart what's going on Twitch to help you become more discoverable, which I'm sure there's a lot of questions around that as well, where on Twitch, if you were to go to the music category right now, those are sorted by viewership. And artists, a lot of times who have built these fan bases and these listener bases and these communities, have a leg up a lot of the time because they have these groups who are looking to engage with live content. And by bringing them in for the first stream, promoting it kind of like a live show, you're getting enough attention on the platform where people are going to be curious. It's a new type of fan. It's a new audience that oftentimes is browsing the website for new things to watch, which is another kind of key differentiator from social media. When people come to Twitch, because it's live and a stream ends, they're usually not just leaving Twitch the second that stream's over. They're looking for something new to watch. So they can click back into that music category and be presented with a lot of options that are within there and find ones that they may enjoy. Sorry,
I'll answer that question. We really feel like streaming live is our use case. If there's, because of the chat and the interaction and the creating of moments right then, uploading a video, you feel free to go to YouTube or any other platform for that. It's really not what our community comes to Twitch for. So I would recommend you can use Twitch for live streaming and use the other platforms for video, but it's just not as compelling for our audience.
Totally, yeah, and I briefly touched on it too. It honestly only benefits you to upload your content in short form to the platforms where that is what people are looking for, right? Back when we were working with a lot of gamers coming from YouTube and other platforms early on, it was something we had to start to explain and experiment with, but it ended up ringing true. If you're creating something that you're able to stream and you're going to upload that creation process has an audience. So an example of this that we've been seeing is there's a producer, Kenny Beats, who's come to Twitch, and they're obviously like watching anyone who's very good at their craft, whether or not you are also either a hobbyist in that or a practitioner of that thing, can be very interesting. But obviously beat making or mixing and mastering is a complicated thing. For me, I'm not talented in these things. I look at Ableton and I almost have a panic attack. But watching him build this community of people who are interested in not just hearing the final product, but how he goes about doing it and learning why he makes certain decisions and hearing those stories about the people he works with and why they decided to release an album the way they did and so on, has been super successful for him. But at the end of the day, that YouTube audience that he also has would rather watch that 6-minute version. So you take those highlights from that creation, and now you're monetizing that live with Twitch and getting that interaction with your fans and showing them that love in real time, and then also taking that to YouTube to serve the audience who is going to watch it there anyway. So it's being able to double down on the same types of things that you're likely already doing. Real quickly too, someone also asked, how much do you charge? That we are a free service. Anyone who wants to stream on Twitch can sign up right now and start streaming. For the viewer side, it's also completely free. There's the options to support monetarily, and the majority of revenue for our broadcasters comes from those subscriptions we talked about earlier, where someone can choose to pay a monthly subscription to support your channel.
Jimmy can answer this question about artists broadcasting from different locations. There is software that they can use. So Jimmy, you should respond to that.
Sure. Yeah. So there's a really fun and boring and annoying science problem to solve there. It's one that we've had to deal with firsthand. Cindy mentioned Twitch Sings earlier. We've built an online karaoke product, right, where people would be able to sing with each other. And we found creative ways to let people interact through music that way. But we aren't yet at a point where you can have two people what I heard from a lot of professional producers and artists is it needs to be less than 25 milliseconds between two different artists so it doesn't melt everyone's brain. Otherwise, hearing the rhythm and a guitar back and forth, it just keeps doubling with more delay. Long story short, no solutions on that stuff yet, but there have been some pretty exciting developments from third party. One thing about Twitch is you can broadcast anything to Twitch. So we've had everything from me in the setup that I'm in now with this crazy background. You can't see everything, but it's just my living room computer all the way over to a satellite truck at a major festival producing a television style broadcast. So you can incorporate other software. You can bring in your own graphics. You can bring in your own Zoom calls. We could actually stream this to Twitch right now by just streaming the Zoom call through software. So as those solutions get better and better, and there's more software to be able to stream together or to be together as artists and musicians, you can use that to stream to Twitch as well.
And I want to respond to a question. Do viewers of Twitch music-based channels tend to donate or sub more, less, or the same? We don't have stats around that, but I can tell you that we've run some charity events. Our own charity event, Stream Aid, which brought in about $2.8 million. It had a slew of artists. We viewed it as really, really successful. I think that, that speaks for itself. We've also run the Willie Nelson Luck Reunion, which was a charitable concert for charity, and that also raised a lot of money. So what we're seeing is artists that come on board that are associated with charities raise a lot of money, and they put it out on their social, so they reach a much broader audience than, let's say, a specific gamer would. I can't speak to, there are certain gamers that and Jimmy would know better than me, that have raised significant sums for charity, but given the nature of celebrity of the artists, I'd say there's going to be a lot of revenue that's associated with artists generally.
Yeah, no, just as a one-off, like Cindy said, we don't necessarily have high-level stats on a lot of this stuff, but we've already seen people who have started within the past, I think 2 months, come up within the top 200 of subscribed channels. Like, it's just, we've seen people grow very rapidly. I'm going to jump back over to questions for a second. Is it important to actually be streaming live versus uploading a video that appears live? For example, on Facebook, we'll set an upload as a premiere and answer questions in the comments. For Twitch, is it key? Okay, yeah. So I think, yes, it's not always the case. So it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. There's different use cases depending on who you are and what you're looking to do. I think what we've seen is we've worked with independent labels who are pushing an album or a specific tour or merch or like specific moments, like tentpole big moments, who, if it is something that fans would go to a theater to experience, or you think they would, Twitch is a great place for that, because like I mentioned earlier, the chat is just as important to the experience as the video. So if it's something different, it's something that typically wouldn't work on YouTube, it's something that we haven't been able to watch on Yahoo or whatever for the past 15, 20 years, it works well on Twitch, something new and different. An example of this was an artist launched a album premiere on Twitch that there was no interaction between the artist and the chat, but the chat had some control over the visualizer they were watching. Those kind of moments are what do really well on the platform, just because people kind of have that expectation of some level of back and forth there. The best way I could describe this, and I've overused this line, but if you've ever been to a bar during a boxing match or a UFC fight or like some soccer match where that's the bar, that's what the chat is. That's people are there to just be hype and like show their excitement and be together. Those kind of moments can be pre-recorded and do fairly well. But for the most part, we do recommend that there's some kind of on-screen interaction because that's what performs the best.
I do want, there are a number of licensing questions, and I do want to address those. You know, as we all know, licensing, music licensing is very complicated and each use case is different. I would, and some contracts that we have are confidential. I can't disclose them publicly, but I would urge those of you who are interested in leaning into Twitch and getting their artists involved or getting involved in other ways. I may regret saying this, but feel free to contact me. And I'm happy to talk to everybody about on a one-to-one basis about this.
Yeah, for sure. A quick note too, while I'm reading through some of the questions, Cindy mentioned a little bit about the charity stuff and nonprofits that we did for StreamAid. That's another major component of Twitch. It's something that I think generally, even before music, we were working on it, but it hadn't like started to really come to the forefront of Twitch. A lot of people were starting to realize in the more mainstream entertainment market is the culture of Twitch around philanthropy is outstanding. We have raised just around, last number I heard was around $210 million for charities and nonprofits. It has been through gaming marathons, telethon style things, music events. Music Cares is one on the music end that's fairly regularly raised for. And we work with partners in the space like Tiltify and St. Jude and other major charities and nonprofits to coordinate streamers for those type of things. And we've been very excited to see the impact that the music community's already had. I mean, we've everything from Willie Nelson and Co. doing raising money to support those affected by the cancellations at South by locally in Austin, like supporting restaurant owners and touring staff and that sort of thing, to people like Beatport bringing people on to raise money to support COVID response. So if there are certain causes that you're looking to raise for, or you think that would be a great component, there is a major culture of supporting good causes on Twitch and has been for a very long time.
Jimmy, do you want to talk, because there are questions around, gaining success on Twitch. How do people go about and actually do that? And, we have some use cases. I didn't know if you wanted to address some specifics.
Sure, yeah. So I did see a question. Apologies, there's a lot of questions. I don't remember the exact wording, but someone had asked, how do you natively build following on Twitch? So let's say that you're just starting off and like maybe you have an artist, like even not a large streamer already, but someone you know is already streaming on Twitch or someone that you've worked with in the past. There's a couple of features that work really well for cross-channel things. I'm going to go back to Kenny for a second, just because this was a very cool moment. There's two things. One is called hosting and the other is called rating. So hosting is a mechanic, like you can set your channel to display someone else's content that gets attributed to them. So if you went to my channel right now, I actually don't know if I'm hosting anyone, but if you went to my channel, it would show someone else's content if I'm not live. They're live, and it helps spotlight their channel. People see who's broadcasting, they can click it and go straight to them and help kind of raise that awareness. Because what good is your audience on Twitch if you're not live at that moment? People have this culture of helping each other. So you can really show off people that you work with and kind of work together to build those things. The other is called rating. When you're going offline, you have the option to send all of your live viewers to another channel who's live at that time. So we saw this incredible moment. It made me really happy to see where Kenny had rated another producer. I think it was Innie produced with a couple thousand viewers, and he had about 80 at the time. So a couple thousand people come in there, show him a lot of love, really talk about, ask questions about the creation process and what he was making. He streamed for another couple hours and he's like, man, we got to pay this forward, and rated another channel, which was Ramzoid. Through that, Baby No Money came in and asked, what's the BPM of this beat you're making right now? He told him. Next thing you know, Baby No Money's texting him vocals. And they put the whole song together within this one period. And it was all because this raid train had happened across different channels in this collaborative process of paying it forward and supporting other artists on the platform that ended up with a completed track that got uploaded to SoundCloud. So it's just, we see these kind of moments and working together with the community, people who make similar music, people who, you already watch and you're interacting with, or other artists that you work with, other labels, whoever that happens to be. Those people are your friends. Like, work with them to host each other, to rate each other, and so on. And the last piece of that I mentioned briefly earlier is use your current audience as leverage to build more. Your team, more than ever digitally, your fans are your street team. They really are. Like, having people who are already familiar with your music, your catalog, your your politics, whatever the thing is that you're likely going to have to answer a million times to new viewers, they're your street team in chat. When someone comes in and says, "Who's this? What's going on? What are they playing? What's the plan? How can I find more about them?" Those fans can help you be friendly and like welcoming to the community or whatever your particular style is of your fan base. And it really, really, really does help grow your channel. They'll also tell friends and so on.
I want to mention there are a lot of questions about the business model. We're going to send around, or at least I believe we already sent to you our new splash page that has links to a lot of the questions that are on this, on the list of questions. So I think that, you know, if we disseminate it to the extent that we're not answering all of the questions now, a lot of them will be answered in the materials. So I just wanted to mention that. I also wanted to mention that the reason we're doing this is, this particular webinar, is we're really leaning into the indie community. We think that the indie community is where we can really create monetization opportunities and a home for the artists and fans. So I just wanted to make that clear that it's really, really important to us that all of you guys feel like we're listening to you, we're creating success for you, and that we can provide a home for you. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I mean, frankly, like some of the most success we've seen has been from a lot of indie artists. Like, being able to sit down and connect with your fan base digitally with no cap. Like, if it's, 30 people, 100, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 people at the same time, we can handle that. I mean, this is our business, and it's what Twitch does very well. Being able to sit down and cultivate and hear it real time from your audience and reward them with that interaction, being able to teach them even. Maybe that's something that you're looking to do, is get them involved in what you do in some way or collaborate. That's something that I think independent artists understand better than a lot of people. And it's really a core success point for people on Twitch, in gaming or anything. Reading through a little bit more. That's actually one other quick thing that I did forget to mention that's pretty important about Twitch. So your channel itself is your real estate. So this is important specifically for anything that you're looking to drive. Whether that is people that you work with, your YouTube channel, your Instagram, your Spotify, your SoundCloud, whatever you want to drive people to, we've tailored our site to be able to do that. So an example of this is we have panels below your stream that you can upload your own graphics to. You can make your own, call out your tour dates, your album release schedule, your stream schedule, whatever that is, and link that to a website. So if you want to include your link tree, if you want to include your SoundCloud, if you want to sell merch directly through Twitch, you're able to do all of those things below your video. And frankly, it's something that gamers have been doing for a very long time. They've been selling their own coffee. They've been selling their own merch and all of these things through Twitch. And really, Twitch is a good place to be live and tie into everything else that you do. Sorry, just reading through here real quick. You guys have a lot of questions. Man. Is there any way to market on Twitch or partner for marketing? It's a case-by-case basis. Like, obviously, we want to help the best we can, right? And the things that we try to push and promote around our partner base specifically are things that touch many people. So an example of that is we've had our own community in the music space spin up talk shows around music on Twitch, or spin up more lighthearted competitions around like track challenges and that sort of thing, to get as much like general visibility. And we're also working, on our own ways to be able to either program or push things out that uplift the whole music category. But, always, reach out to us, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever we can talk. And we're always wanting to figure out how we can help. We've worked with many independent artists on helping special moments too, like album launches and that sort of thing. We've encountered a lot of issues with live rap performances over Zoom calls because audio will be suppressed. Like OBS. So this is a good question. Essentially, they're asking about how to best get performances to Twitch. So in the best audio quality possible. That's another big factor with Twitch is we support fairly high quality audio if you can provide it, right? So if you're playing something direct from your interface, if you plug in your guitar, microphone, whatever that happens to be, it's really solid quality. The difficulty comes in when you have someone in another location sending that over. There's a program that I recommend everyone checks out. It's called OBS, Open Broadcast Software. It's free to use. It's a little scary at first, but there's some incredible guides out there. It's been in use for many, many years. So there's a lot of great YouTube guides and videos and best practices. And what it's just able to stream to Twitch as a service. It's able to stream really anywhere you want. But with Twitch specifically, there's a lot of tie-ins. And if you look up Twitch specific guides through OBS, there's some really solid guides there. But to answer the question around like what software would be best to stream between two locations, experiment. The lows of a house mix or something are important in one type of stream, whereas the acoustic sound on another. So try out Zoom. Discord's another great option. vMix is a good one. But really, it's all about experimentation right now. If it's just you streaming, OBS is a fantastic choice to do that.
And I just want to respond, and Jimmy, you should too. There's a concern about sidelining those artists that have been streaming on the platform for several years. That is absolutely not our intention to do that. And if there's any particular artist that feels like we're doing that, please contact us. We want to make sure they are shown love. They've been supporters of ours from the beginning, and it's not going to be, we're not fair weather friends. We want to support everybody.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is, and we're already seeing a lot of it, is there is a obvious need to make sure that we're educating as many people as possible and having them understand how best to use Twitch. And what we're seeing as the music community grows is we're seeing that carry over and rise the tide. So the more interest that we have within the music category on Twitch, the higher that, wow, my son is having a great time back there. The more that we raise the general profile and awareness and more people streaming and watching, the better off it is for everyone. Can't dive into too many details, but we definitely are building out community programs and things that involve our regular broadcasters, because really, at least for now, they're the cream of the crop. They're the people who are the experts. They're the ones who've been doing this for a long time. As a matter of fact, we've actually spun up some volunteer services, which has been awesome to see. Like, we have a Discord server. If you're not familiar, check out Discord. It's a great way to use, it's a great program to use with or without Twitch, but with Twitch, it has some great integrations. We have a Discord server full of people that we know are experts and who have built great followings and great quality on Twitch, and they volunteered their time to answer questions of new artists. Like, that's the way our community is. They want more people to be doing this, more people to work with, more people to succeed with.
There's actually an example, Matt Heafy, who we love and has been streaming on Twitch for several years. We asked him to help us do a tutorial, and I've actually connected him with other people to help them get set up. So the community, it's a very generous community. There's, not just the charity, there's gifting of subscriptions, with Jimmy, you may want to go into a little further. But it's a community, people who want to give back or pay it forward. So we feel that if anybody needs to get set up specifically, we can connect them with the right people because our community likes to help.
Yeah, on my Twitter, it's actually very, not as much these days because we've actually got some guides together, which, by the way, if you do head over to, I think it's music.twitch.tv, there's a really good guide over there that's a starting point for new people looking to stream as an artist on Twitch. We are building more and more resources there, but you'll actually see many of our current partners, longtime partners spotlighted there with some of their advice and videos. So we definitely do rely on them. I always say that we rarely have good ideas as a company. Like, we've always followed the direction of what the community's doing and what they need. We try to preempt that, but we also work with them to get feedback and build products that support them. The more that we can help them be successful, the better off we're going to be, and the better off people who come after them will be as well.
And I want to make just one other general statement. Our customer is our creator. So we think about the creator first. It's unlike Amazon or other companies where the customer is the end user, even though we are obviously take that into account. We want to super serve the customer, which is our creator. So that's why we want to make sure that you guys are happy as future customers, future creators, and it's the way that everybody benefits.
Yes, no, absolutely. That once again, I don't know why I always have to press that. It sounds corny, but it's super true. We've actually seen it, and it's not an experiment. If we support the creator as the customer, they want to support their audience, right? And then the audience will. So we hyper focus in on how we can make lives easier and better for that creator. And a lot of times they bring us the feedback of their viewers. So we just focus in on that. Yeah, sorry, I failed at pasting the link, but it looks like Lisa got it out there in the chat. A couple other quick things, just back into general setup and monetization. There's a lot of ways to use and stream Twitch. I think starting, if you're on a computer or a Mac, start off by looking into OBS. Like that's really step one. OBS, as well as there's something called Streamlabs OBS, which is a little bit easier to use version. It's kind of a fork. It's an open source software, so other people have their versions. Both of those are really solid. And we also have our own called Twitch Studio. It's intended to be the entryway, currently available on PC. It will be out on Mac as well. But it's being built to be a very simple first step for people to get started and kind of introduce you into the possibilities of live streaming on Twitch. The other piece of this too, Cindy, you mentioned, is gifting subscriptions and talking about Matt Hafey. Hafey, when he first came to Twitch, he had the assumption of a lot of people when they first come over, which is, well, I game. This is a gaming website, so I should mix gaming and music. And he's not necessarily wrong, but he focused pretty heavily on games to begin. And when he started realizing that obviously his audience followed him for his music, and like that's how, you know, the first audience came over was Instagram and Twitter, and like really they follow him for, you know, his guitar and everything that he does. He started realizing the more that he could find ways to incorporate performances and just fun things around what he does and people know him for, he would quadruple his viewership. And over time, he started really building this solid base. I mean, there was one stream where I think he got like 1,100 gifted subscriptions, which means not only did people subscribe themselves for the $5 a month, they clicked the button again and said, I would like to gift, you know, 20, 50, 100 subscriptions to other people in this chat. And when you do that, you can give other people subscriptions, and the broadcaster still gets paid, just as if those people subscribe themselves. It's a really cool mechanic that we've seen take off. Kenny Beats has mentioned this as well. I'm only saying it because he says it on stream, but I've seen some days where I've swung by and he just, oh my God, you guys have gifted 200 subscribers today. Like it's a really, really cool community thing that people come together to support and give each other shout outs and do this cool stuff.
There's a question, I'll just jump in about our partnership with SoundCloud. The way that works is SoundCloud has put out to their artists, if you want to start a channel on Twitch, let us know. We'll help you set up. And then Twitch will fast track them to affiliate status, which opens up monetization opportunities. So that's sort of the high level of that relationship.
And to give perspective on that, I'm going to also post, someone asked for the Discord link, which I will send here right now in chat. If hopefully this goes through. If you click that link, you know, definitely learn about Discord, but that link will take you to, you need to sign up for an account, but that Discord I just linked has those mentors I mentioned earlier who are longtime Twitch broadcasters who can help answer questions around setting up. They've been incredibly helpful. As much as, you know, I love to help people get set up and understand Twitch, I'm one person and there's hundreds, thousands of people wanting to do this. So it's a great resource for you. Sorry, Cindy, what was the question? I was grabbing Discord.
No, I was talking about SoundCloud, but you wanted to add a finer point.
Yes. So with on Twitch, if you sign up right now, you are free. Just sign up for an account. Definitely step number one. It takes typically time to earn into affiliate. Like it's a lower bar on purpose, so you can earn. That's the first step towards becoming like a Twitch partner or a larger broadcaster, but it does take time. And obviously with everything going on in the world, it was important to us to work with like SoundCloud and some of these other partners to be able to get those working artists into the affiliate program as quick as possible. So we're helping artists get in immediately so they can start monetizing right out the gate rather than having to wait a month or whatever that happens to be. There's one step also beyond that that typically takes many people months, years to earn. It's called partner status. That is a lot of people confuse the check mark as verification. It actually means that they're a verified partner on Twitch. They have a deeper relationship. There's account management teams that specifically focus on helping them grow their channels above and beyond. And those partner groups are typically people who make a majority of their revenue through Twitch. Like, this is really a place that they dive in and they use on the regular, and we want to support them. That's something that we haven't let go. Over the years, we've grown our partnership account management team to be able to support thousands and thousands of partners that we work with. Yeah.
I think we've pretty much covered all of the questions. And if not, you'll, feel free to reach out to us. Lisa has our contact information. Read all of the materials, and thanks for having us. We really appreciate it. We really want to speak to your group.
Thank you for being here, Cindy and Jimmy. This is really helpful, and we will be in touch with everyone afterwards. Twitch is an A2IM member. If you are not, for some reason, an A2IM member, we're the American Association of Independent Music, and we are hosting these Indiescussions to talk about how to better the independent music community, and we are looking forward to having more participation. So thank you. We had so many questions. I think we got through most of them. And if you are looking to get in touch with the Twitch team and you're an A2IM member, please contact our team at membership@a2im.org. I'll put it in the chat right here so you can see it and we can connect you. That's part of what we do. And thank you for being here, and hopefully see you for our next discussion on Thursday. Thank you, Cindy, and thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you everybody for attending.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.